It's showtime. Welcome, everyone, for those of you either as you join live or as you view this later. Type replay in the comments if you're viewing this later. I have many questions for you today. And the first one is, what would it take for you to have the life experience, the energy you truly want? Think about it. What would it take to have the life you really want, the energy, the time to do and be what and who you want to be? I want to acknowledge that many women leaders are facing burnout, exhaustion, and they feel that life is just kind of flying by. Recent studies actually indicate that 80, and in some studies, more than 90% of women report feeling burned out. Now, this is the underlying focus of our broadcast today. And I want to help women reflect on how you can start reconnecting with your energy, with your joy, and with the grace that you actually deserve and are entitled to in this life. It does not have to be a grind. It does not have to be just powering through. So please, take some notes, encourage you to back this up and re-listen if you want to hear it again. There's going to be a recording of this on LinkedIn and YouTube for future reference. And I'll have several questions that I would like you to spend a little time reflecting on throughout this broadcast and after the broadcast. Maybe do a little bit of journaling afterwards on some of these questions. Do you remember what it feels like to really enjoy your life and to enjoy a life with ease and grace? Burnout usually robs most women of this feeling. They don't feel like life is easy. They don't feel like, they have grace in their life. They feel like it's a grind. They feel like they are powering through. And I know this feeling of enjoying their life and a life of ease and grace is really a distant memory. They might not even be able to remember the last time they really felt an easeful sense of life for more than a vacation or part of a vacation even. Life does not have to be a constant rat race. However, we've got expectations of our leaders, expectations of our team, expectations of our families, expectations of society. And this actually prevents most women from accessing their own grace and their own sense of ease. And instead, it's just a source of, all these expectations are a source of constant stress. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. If it's safe to do so, if you're listening to this in the car, please do not close your eyes right now. Come back to this and visualize a moment when life felt easeful. How did you feel? And do you have a sense for what you could do to create more moments like this moving forward? That's what we're going to talk about here. So when was the last time you truly had sustainable energy? Not just a burst because you had some caffeine in the afternoon or caffeine first thing in the morning or caffeine throughout the day. When did you really have a sense of sustainable energy? How many years ago was it? For most of you, I think it is years. Can you pinpoint when you started to feel depleted? I want you to reflect on this a bit and write down one thing that you feel has been contributing to that you've been neglecting, one thing you've been neglecting that is contributing to your energy drain? I want you to think about that for a minute. I don't want to taint your thoughts here, but what is one thing that you feel you've been neglecting that contributes to your energy drain? And now I'll give you a few things that I've heard from other people. Sleep, healthy meals, undivided attention with your family, boundaries, self-care practices. Sustainable energy isn't about powering through. It's about realigning what truly energizes with you and not depleting yourself with constant overwork. Now, when you're realigning, it's recognizing. I know recognizing is already a RE word, being cognizant, recognizing what your needs are moment by moment, day by day, week by week. And that is the foundation that I work with my clients on really getting back to sustainable energy. Part of it is setting boundaries, prioritizing your wants, your needs, your desires, so that you are not constantly trying to operate from a place of depletion. While it may be very noble to think that putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own is a great, noble feat, and it actually isn't, because it depletes you, and then you cannot give your best to the things that you want to, whether it's work or family or fun or recreation or a hobby, whatever it is. So think about it. What would it take to get your energy, your life, your joy back? So I want you to think about some of the habits that you have that are currently preventing you from reclaiming your energy. And we're going to go into a few more of these things that you can take action on in just a moment. But I want you to think about, what are those habits? Are they people pleasing? Do you have a habit of overworking? Do you have a habit of overachievement? Achievement is a healthy thing. But when it's verging on perfectionism, or when it's verging on burning yourself out to achieve more and more and more and more, and oftentimes it's the reason underlying that overachievement that is making it a striving energy, a really draining energy versus an empowering energy. Do you have a habit of setting unrealistic expectations for yourself or others? Do you have a habit of saying yes to everyone and everything, every extra project, everything that the boss needs somebody to do? Are you too uncomfortable? Do you have a habit of being too uncomfortable saying no? So you say yes, and you feel regret, you feel resentment, you feel anger. Do you have those, these are just a few of the habits that I see in clients that are leading them to drain their energy over and over and deplete themselves to a point of getting sick. So I want to share with you a few things. I want you to think about, what is one small change that you can make right now, that you can make today, this week, that can help you start to restore your energy. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a list. I'm going to say, I think it's 8 things, but I'm only going to go into detail on 2 or 3. If you want the full list, and I'm going to go into why it's important, how to implement it, and then what the outcome is that you should anticipate with implementing this actionable step. Now, if you'd like the whole list with all of the details, please DM me, come to LinkedIn, Dottie Posto, DOTTY POSTO. There you go, it's right there on the screen. If you're on YouTube, Or you can just leave a comment on the YouTube video as well, and I'll find it there. DM me with your email address, and I will get you that list of all of those action items that you can take to start to restore your energy. Now, I am going to tell you these sound easier than they are. In order to sustain these long term, these take a mind shift, a habit shift. And for most people, shifting habits can be challenging. Willpower runs out, they are white knuckling it, and then they're just exhausted from trying. And I'm still going to share them with you. And when they get tough, don't quit. When they get tough, please reach out and let's chat about what are some easier ways to make changing these habits more sustainable. And again, if you want the whole list, DM me your email address and just say, how to stop overworking or something. Just DM me and say, February 17th live broadcast, and I'll know what list to send you. So I want you to think about these things and really try to give one of them a go. So I'll share a few with you. One of them is to say no more often. Now, it's important because so many women leaders find themselves overcommitted, whether that's 60 to 80 hours of work a week, plus time on a nonprofit board, plus the time they need to, spend with their families. They are just letting themselves and probably others down by saying yes. It drains your energy. Saying yes to everything drains your energy and leaves you with very little left for yourself. So how can you implement it? Start with small boundaries. See if there's one thing, one request this week that you can say no to. Whether it's a work task, a social event, a family obligation, and just notice how you feel afterwards. Just notice it. Don't be judgmental about how you feel. There's a good chance that you might feel, uneasy. You might feel like you're letting someone down. You might feel someone isn't going to like you or appreciate you or find value in you because of this. So start with small boundaries. Use a pause technique. So when you're asked to do something new or something additional, give yourself permission to pause. Say, let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you. Rather than just saying yes, rather than that immediate confirmation of absolutely, I got it. This is going to really help you assess this item that somebody is asking you to do against your priorities. And then reflect on your why. Now, I have a whole activity around this, around why you do the things that you do. If you're interested in that, please DM me the table exercise, DM table exercise, and I'll send you the link for that. It's a free exercise on my website. But reflect on your why. Remind yourself that each no is a step toward greater energy, better energy, sustainable energy. And saying no is actually an act of honoring yourself, honoring your needs, your wants, your desires, and honoring your well-being. And by setting limits and saying no more often, you can actually create space for ease, for grace, for things that really matter, and reduce the feelings of overwhelm and burnout. So what's a second thing? We talked about this last week, but I'm going to share it again because we often need to hear things 16 or 17 times before we actually take action on them. So here it is again. Get more sleep. Chronic lack of sleep is a direct contributor to burnout. It seems obvious, I know. But poor sleep quality. Maybe you get 7 hours, but you're waking up multiple times throughout the night. It affects your mental clarity. It affects your decision making. It affects your emotional regulation. It affects your creativity. It affects your executive function because it puts you into this fight, flight, or freeze on a constant basis. So see if you can prioritize your sleep and see if you can go to bed and wake up so that it gives you 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep each night. Part of that might be creating a relaxing nighttime routine. Disconnect from work-related tasks, from screen time, 30 minutes to an hour before bed. Consider reading, meditation, maybe some stretching as a way to help your body know. Even a warm bath. I had a friend who lit candles and took a warm bath every single night. She loved that routine, and it just helped her get way better sleep. And set boundaries with work. Let colleagues and team members know that you need to and want to prioritize your sleep. And set expectations about your availability outside of work hours, especially in the evenings. When we don't give our brain that active rest, studies show we are actually 20% less productive the next day. And so by improving your sleep quality, it restores your cognitive function, stabilizes your emotions, replenishes your energy, helps you be more creative, and helps you show up more present and engaged. Now, I'm going to skip, those were only 2 action items. Remember, I said I have 8 of them. If you would like the rest of those, they're reevaluating priorities, nurturing healthy relationships, delegating and asking for help, practicing mindful breathing, meditation, or self-hypnosis, reconnecting with things that just actually make you happy, reconnecting with activities that bring joy and happiness into your life, and also taking breaks from overworking. So those are the rest of those, the 6, in addition to the 2 I mentioned, which were saying no more often and getting more sleep. So those are actionable ways that you can transform your energy. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. Remember, these are habits. Not getting enough sleep is just a habit you're in. And by being in that habit, just so that you know some of the implications, not getting enough sleep will decrease your immune function. Your cells go through a repair cycle when you get into deep sleep. And when they go through that repair cycle, then they go through a duplication process. If you're not getting enough sleep, then they get into the duplication cycle before they're repaired. And so you're duplicating damaged cells. They don't have the time. They don't have the restful time during your sleep, the deep restful time during your sleep to actually repair themselves before they duplicate. All right, let's jump back into where we were. A couple more things I want to talk about is, are you waiting for retirement? I've heard this from a few people that, yeah, I'm burned out, but I've only got, one woman said like 1,095 days until retirement. I'm like, that's a long time. A lot can happen in that time. You could get a serious illness by being in burnout over and over and over, and time after time after time. You are weakening your immune system, and you're setting yourself up for chronic disease, chronic illness, chronic pain. So I know that we often delay really living fully, hoping that retirement is going to bring all the relief that we seek. But often, by that time, women's health is compromised. Retirement is not the magical fix for burnout. So many women face health issues in retirement due to years and years of chronic stress and neglecting their own self-care. I don't want you to be like some of my friends or family members who didn't really even make it to retirement. They were forced into retirement by a disease, by cancer or something else, or that was the first thing that happened to them at retirement, was they were diagnosed with cancer. I know that there's one other thing that I'll share quickly before we wrap up here, and that is that many women leaders operate with what is referred to by Mark Evans in his book, Mule versus Magician, with a mule mindset, where they feel they have to do everything themselves. And that leads to burnout. And it doesn't lead to increased value or increased influence in your organization. You want to really go about your work, go about your day with the mindset of the magician, which is leading with influence, setting boundaries, delegating, in order to restore your energy and your enjoyment of the work that you're doing. Excuse me. So that's kind of another bonus action item is, can you embrace the idea of being the magician who leads with intention, with alignment, with delegation, with influence, rather than doing it all? So I want you to think again. Ask yourself, what would it take for me to have the life I truly want now, without waiting to retirement? Please don't wait for a major life event, like cancer or even like retirement, to begin reclaiming your joy, to begin reclaiming your energy. It can happen now. I know so many women who have, some of them have quit their jobs multiple times in their career to recover from burnout. That doesn't have to happen. If you love what you do and you love the people you work with, and maybe you do or maybe you don't, but if you really enjoy the work you're doing, you do not have to quit or step back. There is a way to reclaim your energy now and have a life you love. So please reach out if you need some support, if you'd like to explore going deeper into these changes, and we can schedule a free one-on-one session where we can talk about what are those things that are leading to your burnout and what could help create lasting transformation. You deserve a life full of energy, full of enjoyment, full of ease and grace. Please do not wait until it's too late. Reclaim your energy now.